Hey guys, Mix here, and in today's video we are back working on my new 1974 MGB. So in last video we worked on this thing for the very first time and basically just started to figure out everything. We got electrical life going through this thing, and then once I was able to get it to turn over, we kind of just looped up the cylinders, put in new spark plugs. Well, we tested for spark first, and this thing has the best spark I've ever seen on any engine I've ever worked on ever, so that's really good. And I took off the carbs because they were leaking, and well, they were very, very dirty. Also, you guys may be seeing, what's going on back here. So we also found out that I do have a tiny pinhole in the gas tank, and we left off just flushing like soap and water through this thing, and I did it several times over and over again just to try and flush out as much fuel as possible. I've only put in about like 1.5 gallons, which all drained out, and then I just kind of went crazy with the soap and water. So you might be able to see it right there is where it was leaking, and I just kind of wiped it down with like this spray bottle, so it's a little bit wet right now. But I do want to make sure that I have the a nice clean gas-free surface when I weld it. It's literally just going to be a tack, but I'm very nervous because, well, it's a gas tank. So I pushed the cars away, and I have the hose line ready, and I have my fire extinguisher ready for possible fire. I really don't think that it will go on fire, but I'm just being safe. I've had the gas cap off for a couple days now and just kind of venting out. But I do want to go ahead and weld that first so it has enough time to cool down, and while it's cooling I could go ahead and clean and put some new parts into the carburetors. But what I do want to do is start off with the gas tank so it has enough time to cool down before I put, gas in it and it's still hot, and then it really will explode. So I'm just going to do that, and then once that's done, I'm just going to let it cool, and while I'm letting it cool, I'm going to start working on the carburetors, start cleaning them up and putting new parts in there that came all the way from England, so definitely pretty hyped on that. So guys, with that being said, let's get started. I've been dreading this moment for a long time, so here goes nothing. I definitely prepped it as good as I could. Just pray for me. Alright guys, so I just put the ground where it is. I'm just gonna wipe the surface one last time and then just lay down a quick little tack, and that should be it. I have the hose already flowing with water. I got my fire extinguisher right here, so I'm prepared for anything right now. But here we go. Big ground. Alright. Should be good. No black smoke billowing out of here. That's always good. So guys, here are the tacks. This one came out, decent. This one, not so much. It's pretty messy. There's like 1,000 tacks on top of each other. For some reason, I was really struggling with that one. I don't know why. That's definitely one of my worst welds I've ever done, but it was pretty difficult, and I didn't want to burn a hole through it because it is pretty thin. But what I do want to do is I'm going to go to AutoZone. Just going to run there real quick. I do need to pick up carb cleaner anyway, but I'm also going to pick up some JB Weld, but like the metal cement one, and I'm just going to like put it over it. It really can't hurt. I might as well just do it. Honestly, I probably just could have JB welded it instead of actually welding it, but I might as well just do both. And I'm just going to do an outside layer of JB Weld just to kind of insulate it and also protect it from rust. And then once that dries, I'm probably going to just throw a quick little spray paint over it just to make sure that all that clean metal under there doesn't rust. Alright guys, so I just got back from AutoZone, and I got the carb cleaner, and I also got this JB Weld. It's like the ones that you mix. This stuff is really, really good. It's not like that muffler cement or whatever that just like crusts off over time. This stuff actually holds really, really good. So I'm just going to mix up a little bit right now, and then I'm just going to spread it across the surface on the welds to protect them a little bit. Now just mix them up. Alright, that should be good. So I just finished up basically just slathering it on there. So I'm just going to let that cure before I go ahead and pour fuel in here. So I was hoping to be able to do the carburetors today, but I do have a lot going on later today so that I have to get ready for. That I was able to get the welding out of the way for right now. And then tomorrow I have all day to clean the carbs, rebuild them, put them in. Then I think just, test out the gas tank. If that's all good, I'm going to try and start this thing up. And it should run. We know it has spark, it has oil, so we can run it for a little bit before we have to change that because it is really old. But last video, when I sprayed the starter fluid in it, we did hear it run, and it did have a little bit of a knock in it, which did make me a little bit nervous, but since I think it fired up relatively fast, I'm thinking maybe it didn't build oil pressure. That's just what I'm hoping, but you never really know. So tomorrow I'm gonna catch you guys back. The gas tank should actually be all cured, so it should be perfect. And we are going to start off with the carburetors and just see what else we have to do from there. So with that being said, I'll catch you all tomorrow. Alright guys, so we are back here the next day, and as you can see, I'm already all gloved up, and that is because I have the carburetors and basically just everything I really need to clean them up, ready to go. And over here I have the rebuild kit all the way that was air freighted from England, so hopefully it fits. It should be the right one. But this one kit does both of them, but basically I'm just going to dive right into there, just start spraying everything down, you know, taking some stuff out, and then seeing what I can replace. Everything in here I don't think really needs to be replaced, but if I have a brand new part for it, I might as well replace it. So, that being said, let's get started. So guys, like an hour and a half later, the carburetors are all back together. I just went ahead and kind of cleaned off all of the gaskets and stuff that were still on here. So these things are basically ready to install. It came with all new gaskets too for like the intake on the engine. So I have to take off those as well and then put on the new ones, probably clean them up a little bit. But let's go head out to the car and start getting them installed. So I just finished installing the carburetors and everything involved, all the like vacuum hoses and the throttle cable, choke cable, everything is all good to go. But what I want to do first is come back here and see how that JB weld is looking. Still looking a little wet. Oh no, it's hard. Probably could use like maybe another hour or so. It's almost 24 hours, so should be almost done. So what I want to do is just wait just a smidge longer, and then we could pour fuel into the gas tank and pray that it doesn't leak. It really shouldn't. And if it doesn't leak, then we could go ahead and try and give this thing its first start. You know, just make sure that once it starts pulling fuel, that it's not leaking anywhere, and then we'll fire this thing up. Alrighty guys, so it's been like an hour later, and I got my gas can. I'm pretty nervous. I gotta have a bucket ready in case it does leak, but I'm just gonna put in a little bit and just check out the bottom and make sure it's not pouring out. So here we go. That's all I'm doing for right now. Please don't be leaking. Please don't be leaking. Alright, nothing yet. Then again, that really wasn't a lot. Alright. Don't see anything leaking. Oh boy. Nothing. I'm gonna put in enough to try and start it. Now hopefully there aren't any holes along the side. That would suck. I think we definitely have enough in it to try and start it. Still nothing. Alright, let's do this. Alright, so I just have to reconnect the battery quick. And then we'll be good to go. Alright, so if this thing does fire up, I'm not going to be running it for too long because it has no coolant in it. And I don't want to run it very long regardless because the oil in it is, we know, over 10 years old. There is enough in there, but it is very old, so I do want to get that changed out. But let me just give this one more check. Alright, everything's looking good. Oh. First thing I'm going to do is put in the key and turn it once. I hear the fuel pump going. Doesn't look like the fuel gauge works, but It does sound like the fuel pump is pulling fuel because it's getting harder to pull. Okay, yep. Fuel filter is beginning to fill now. Alright, I'm gonna try and fire this thing up. Alright, here goes nothing. Oh my god. Oh my god, it just ran. Alright, I'm gonna cut that off. No starter fluid or nothing. Gonna check for leaks. Oh, I see something. Oh, dang, I had a feeling. So it looks like that fuel line going across is in too bad of shape. I was hoping that it would be, good enough to test on it before I bought a new fuel line, for something I didn't even know that would work, but it looks like it's too brittle and it actually is leaking pretty bad. Doesn't look like the floats are leaking, so that's good. Last time they were. I'm impressed of how fast that just fired up. So it looks like I'm gonna have to take off that fuel line and, well, try and find a replacement one. Dang, I should have done it before, but, oh well. But it did just run. It fired up very, very fast. No starter fluid, nothing. It sounded a little rough, not gonna lie. Alright guys, so I actually just got back from AutoZone and I picked up some new fuel line, antifreeze, and I just went ahead and got some Flex Seal. This stuff is actually really good. It's not just like a meme. And I'm just going to spray it over the gas tank just to kind of protect it from rusting. But I did already take off the fuel line. I had to pop off the intakes to get to the hose clamps. But let's go ahead and put on the new fuel line and then I guess try and start it again. If it's running pretty good, I'll add coolant and see how she's running from there. Alright, so before I go ahead and put back on the intakes, I do want to kind of prime up the fuel pump again and maybe just fire it up quick just to make sure that it doesn't leak. And then once I know that it won't leak, I'll go ahead and throw back on the air filters. I'm just going to try and fire it up. It had good oil pressure. I didn't see that before. Alright, we're looking good. I'm going to throw them on and then run it even more. Had really good oil pressure. Alright, so I'm pretty confident that this thing is going to run, like, pretty consistently. So I do want to add some coolant to it right now and start getting the system filled. Because from what I can see, it's bone dry. I'm just going to put in enough to where I can see it. And then hopefully once the thermostat opens, I can start filling up the system and getting out all the air. I want to take you guys inside for this one because before I wasn't getting a oil pressure reading, but now I am, so let's see. There it goes. Come on, baby. I'm gonna try and turn off the choke. Come on. Ah. Might need the choke still. Okay. Give her a sec. Let's check over everything again. Looking nice and dry. So guys, I have a feeling that it needs more gas in it, which I don't have, but it is starting to rain a little bit, and I really don't want the car getting too wet. It's been drizzling little by little all day, but now it's starting to come down a little bit harder. I'm going to catch you guys back tomorrow when I want to try and get this thing running, and maybe even idling, if we're lucky, and start working out the kinks. But I am stoked that this thing is firing up, with fuel, no starter fluid needed. Pretty impressive. So anyway, with that being said, I'll catch you all tomorrow. So guys, we are back and I have some fuel for this thing. But what I do want to go ahead and do is put some more gas in this and try and fire it up because it kind of sounded, I gotta fix that. It kind of sounded like it was starving for fuel. So I think I just gotta keep on running it and see if it could clear up. But I am gonna pop the hood just in case that we do spring another leak from the carbs at all. So let's go ahead and put some fuel in and try and fire this thing up again. So I just finished putting in fuel. It's probably got about 5 gallons in there, I'd say. I'm gonna listen for that fuel pump to slow down. Still Nothing on the gauge, so I'm pretty sure that's not working. I'm just gonna check the fuel pump. All right, we got fuel flowing. No leaks from what I can see. All right, here we go. Oh, bad connection, dang it. So I just kind of fiddled around with it back there, so now let's try this again. Okay, it fired literally right up. It's not running good though. I don't want to kill the battery. Kind of sounds like the fuel pump is like going a little bit too fast, like it's not picking up fuel. So I'm gonna try and put some more gas in it, and then we'll try it again. It's not really going like da-da, da-da. Like usually it slows down when it has like pressure in it, but it's still like da-da-da-da-da. So I'm gonna put some more fuel in it, and hopefully that fixes its problem. Just put some more fuel in it, so let's try this again. Pump still sounds the same. Nothing. I'm trying no choke. Oh boy. Oh boy. Come on, baby. Ah, definitely a little bit smoky out here. But I could try and clear this thing out a little. I feel like this fuel pump really isn't doing its job though. Come on, girl. Come on. Keep running. Keep running. I'm gonna check for leaks because I'm very nervous about that still. Alright, looking good. I still keep the bucket under there just in case. Really isn't much fuel in the fuel filter. Let me check under the whole entire car for a fuel leak. In a fuel line or something. I don't see anything. I'm just gonna keep trying. I just added even more fuel to it, and by now, I mean, it should be enough to run, but the fuel pump still sounds like it's not, like, getting fuel. When I last ran this, when it would, like, get fuel, I would know, because it would be like, da-da, da-da. It would get really, really low, like how it's supposed to be doing. So I'm just going to keep trying to prime the fuel pump, and if that doesn't work, I might actually replace the fuel filter, because there is just barely any fuel there on the bottom, so I wonder if this is all clogged up. Come on. Hang in there. Come on, hang in there. Hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Run, 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 run. Smoking at the place. Oh boy. Alright, that was the most it's ever ran. Definitely smoky. I feel bad for my neighbors. Oh my god. Jeez. Just burning off a bunch of crud. I had the gas cap off for that. I wonder if that actually may have had something to do with it. Something to possibly keep in mind. Fuel pump still sounds the same. Not bad right now. Holy cow, it's idling. I kid you not, it is idling right now. Oh my god. Lots of smoke. Something's knocking up here bad. Does not sound good. It is idling right now. We have oil pressure. I am gonna go ahead and cut it off quick though, because that knock is scaring me. Oh boy, that did not sound good. Now that it's ran, I do want to check the oil real quick. Make sure it's still between min and max, and you know, it doesn't look like a milkshake right now. Alright, so we're still good. It doesn't smell bad, so I'm really not afraid to run it on this. It did have pretty good oil pressure, around 50 to 60 pounds. There is a good amount of pressure in the cooling system. I want to go nice and easy taking this off. Not sure if the thermostat opened yet, but we do have coolant in there. I'm going to run it with the red cap off and then try and see for the coolant to go down so that the thermostat opens. That sounds bad. Part of me wants to do an oil change on this. Maybe not even just the filter. I mean, the filter on there looks brand new. It looks like if it had the valves done, like before it sat, I'm guessing that they did an oil change in it. But even if I like were to drain the oil and put some fresh, new oil in there, part of me, I don't know, like wants to do that, but also another part of me thinks that that won't do anything because it does have decent oil pressure and I feel like I might be wasting money. But then again, if it is really bad low viscosity oil, then I could save the engine if I keep trying to run it like this. Alright, so just now thinking about it, I think I'm just gonna say screw it and just put some new oil in that just so I can like kind of, X that off the list. And if it isn't oil, low viscosity old oil causing that knock, then, well, I think this thing might have a blown engine. Because it does not sound good. Alrighty guys, so I just got back from AutoZone and I kind of just looked online and like forums with MGBs to see like what people usually run. And a lot of people are saying Castrol 20W50. So I got that, and I also went ahead and got some oil treatment that contains like zinc and everything, because zinc is really good for older engines. I run zinc additives in the Corvette. I'm just going to go ahead and crawl onto there, take out the oil drain plug, and see what we got. So I finally got the drain plug off. That thing was tight. I had to use a huge bar to get it off. Doesn't look like a milkshake, which is good, but it definitely does feel thin. Alright, so I'm not sure how well you guys can be able to see this, but this oil is literally filled up to the brim of this oil pan. So I think I might just take like an oil pump and pump it into another pan, because if I try and pick this up, I will most likely drop it. It's a 7-quart pan, and this thing filled it completely up, so there had to be gasoline or something in this oil, that's for sure. I got the oil back here. I didn't bother recording it because I had to be really careful, but I don't see any metal shavings in it, which is good. Hopefully it's not like a spun rod bearing or anything, but this stuff is just like water, and there's no way that engine holds 7 quarts, so it had to be like flooded with fuel. It can't be really coolant or water or anything because it's not milkshakey, if it had like a blown head gasket or something, so definitely a little weird. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and just siphon the rest into there, and now I'm just going to go ahead and pour in the new oil and fire it up, and hopefully we don't have a rod knock anymore. This is much more oil-like. Alright, so I actually ended up taking 5 quarts, so now I'm just going to add, whoa, that's thick. That's literal honey. This actually might be honey. Kind of smells like it. Alright, so I'm going to give the engine a second to digest that, because she's thick. I'm just going to check the oil one more time, and then we should be good. Alright, so the oil is all checked, and it is looking perfect. So, I think it's had enough time to swallow that thick oil treatment. Let's try and fire this thing up, and hopefully not hear rod knock. No. Oh, the wipers work. That's good. Come on. I kind of hear it. Frick, I still kind of hear it. Doesn't sound as bad. Sounding rough. I don't know what's going on over there. Sounds like it's coming from right over here. I just thought of something. I'm gonna pull out the spark plugs because it almost sounds like maybe the wrong spark plugs are in them, and they might be too long, and maybe the piston's hitting them. So I'm gonna pull them. If they look like that they're hit, then that could be the culprit. hopefully that is, and hopefully that there's not a hole in the piston right now. Just gotta keep on praying. Alrighty guys, so I just finished pulling out all the spark plugs, and they were insanely tight for some reason. I don't remember tightening them that tight, and I actually cracked 2 of them on the way out. This one and that one, so that sucks. And I have to get, you know, new ones. But all of the gaps, they were still, you know, there was still a gap there. They weren't smushed in like they were being hit by the piston. But what I want to do right now is just crank it over without the spark plugs in, so I could try and listen for any type of knock or anything. So guys, as you can see, I actually just got 4 all new spark plugs, different than those. I actually just like had them do 1974 MGB and gave me, you know, what is meant for this, because these were just based off of the ones that were previously on it, but these ones are supposed to be meant for this car. But I was actually just looking online, and apparently the way that the spark plug wires are on here now and how they were connected to the cylinders is wrong. So I'm going to get those all straightened out and then fire it up and see if there's any difference. Oh, nah, that can't be right. So I got it running and it still sounds terrible. It actually has a belt squeak now, so that's even better. It's a shame. It sounds good coming out the back. The brakes do seem to be building pressure, so I'm putting it in gear right now. Oh wow, it actually works good. I feel like it is rod knock, but another part of me feels like it might not be, because usually rod knock has more of like a squeak to it. This has more, I don't know, it doesn't really just sound like that. But I could be wrong. But if any of you guys know what this may be, maybe like a push rod, or you think maybe like a water pump or something, definitely comment it down below. It did look like that we did start to have some coolant flowing. I saw it flowing throughout the radiator. So I'm guessing that the water pump is working. But that knock is definitely really, really bad. So I don't want to go ahead and start it any more than I already have. So guys, I'm going to be ending off today's video here. Definitely comment down below to try and, you know, give this engine another life. Hopefully it's something maybe simple. But anyway guys, follow my social medias. They will be on the outro of this video. Instagram and Snapchat I use the most. I am stoked that this thing is running. Too bad it does sound like a, you know, bucket of bolts, but it is a project, and we'll just see what the fate is. Maybe with some of you guys' help, I'm going to do some research myself and try and hear similar things that could be anything but rod knock, hopefully. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, tell your friends about the channel.